Professor Sauce Boss here, reporting live from Hurricane Dorian, where we're lighting it on fire and doing stupid stuff. Don't do this at home.
What's up, everybody? I'm Chuck with VMPPerformance, and today around the office we were kind of chatting. How far has brake technology come over the years? So, to my right, I have my 1992 Ford Taurus SHO. Pretty high performance car for its day. And to my left, I have my 2019 Mustang GT. Pretty much a performance car by today's standards. So we're going to take a little test, we're going to see which one still performs better, and then we're going to talk about brake technology and what you can do to upgrade the brakes in your car. So we got the Mustang down here, we've got the boxes set up down there, and we've got a couple jack stands on either side where I'm going to hit the brakes. I'm going to get the cars up to about 40 miles per hour, and I'm going to mat the brake pedal as hard as I can, and we're going to see if we can stop the car before we hit the boxes. So let's give it a go. So now we know how the 2019 Mustang performs, but how about a 1992 Taurus? Let's find out.
We should light this stuff on fire.
Alright guys, so our brake test is completed. I cannot say I'm super surprised by the results given that brake technology has come a long way in the last 20 years. So let's send it inside and we're going to go over what choice of brakes is right for your car and how all this stuff works.
How's that for a comparison between old technology and new? As you saw, Chuck's 19 Mustang stopped a heck of a lot better. You might have noticed that when the Mustang came to a stop, it came to a clean dead stop. With the show, the tires locked up, they were squealing, smoke, all sorts of bad stuff. On the Mustang, the ABS was functioning, and on the Taurus show, it's a $400 car. You kind of get what you pay for, and we're not exactly sure what works and what doesn't. Apparently, ABS doesn't. Now let's take a look at the brake options we have available at VMP. Here on Track Attack, we have a cross-drilled and slotted rotor and a big, beefy 6-piston caliper. It is a brake that is really well suited for high performance driving events. It is great for dissipating heat, great for stopping power, basically all the things that you would want on a road course. It, in turn, would not be a great brake for a dedicated drag setup. For a dedicated drag setup, you're going to want something that doesn't have as much mass as this caliper and rotor package brings for us. Instead, you're going to want something a little bit more like this. These are brakes off of one of my cars. This is a 4-piston caliper, and still got a slotted rotor, but as you can see, it's a much less beefy rotor than what we have on Track Attack. So this is great for drag racing, where being light is the name of the game. You obviously need the brakes to work in drag racing, but they don't have to work over and over again like they do in a high performance driving event type situation. They need to stop every single time. Something that I commonly say is going is optional, stopping is mandatory, and these brakes will do that. However, it is also why you see a lot of drag cars running parachutes, because if the brakes fail or don't have enough oomph behind them, you do have that secondary measure of the parachute to be able to give you a little bit more slowdown at the end of your run. So definitely lighter weight for drag racing options versus the heavier duty, beefier options for a road course type situation. We can take a look at weight on these rotors. coming in at 6.6 pounds. And then I also have a stock rotor over here off of a Mustang GT. And, oh, I'm gonna have to put the camera down. I can't do it with hands. I had to put the camera down. That one was heavy. 17.5 pounds. So it's a huge weight savings, nearly 60% difference in weight. As you can see, a huge difference. Drag brakes are not something that you want to run on the street on a daily basis or on a even occasional basis. They are good for stopping in a straight line once after a quick pass down the track. Comparing the two, you can see why you wouldn't really want to use the dedicated drag brake on a street setup, because they are so much thinner, there's so much less area for heat to be dissipated through that they get spongy quickly, and they just lose stopping power and they're liable to failure. So not a great option for the street. Those of you that are kind of the street strip people, the factory has got great options for you. So we got to take a look at the difference between the weights on the rotors. A nearly 60% difference between the weight of the stock rotor versus the drag rotor. And now we should take a look at the difference in weight between the calipers. We've got my drag caliper, and then a caliper off, this is actually the caliper off of my 15 car. And again, I'm in the same boat with the caliper as I was with the rotor. I'm going to have to use two hands and set this camera down to be able to lift it. So I'm not gonna lift that one. But as you can see, this is a 4-piston caliper. You can see the pistons inside. And then this, the one that I can't lift with one hand, is a single piston. So already we've got kind of a clue that this caliper is going to be a lot heavier than that caliper, since I can't lift that one with one hand. Also, it is apart, so that kind of contributes to it, and I don't have huge hands. First, the drag caliper. Three pounds to stop a whole 3,500 pound plus drag car. And now I'm going to set the GoPro down and try this one. Jesus. 11.9 pounds. 12 pounds is really heavy to lift when it's above like waist height and you're trying to put it onto a scale, and you're a tiny person. But yeah, so nearly 75% difference between the drag caliper and the stock caliper. And that's going from a single piston caliper to a 4-piston caliper. So that's a nearly 75% weight savings on the calipers. Then you have the nearly 60% weight savings on the rotors, which are rotational mass. Overall, you end up with an over 30% weight savings per corner. At the drag strip, where every pound counts, that's a huge difference. Now we're gonna take a look at my 2011 Mustang and see what these brakes look like when they are actually on a car. So we're over here with my drag car to take a look at what drag brakes look like on a dedicated drag car. And you may have noticed that they're very similar, the front and the rear. This makes a proportioning valve on a drag car absolutely necessary. If you have the bias between the front and the rear messed up, it can get a little sketchy, as you can see from this clip. The other thing is as I mentioned, they're not great for street driving. I do occasionally on true street cruises or things like FL2K, drive the car on the street. It's very, very drivable the way that it's been tuned with our blower. It's a great car on the street, except the brakes aren't well matched for street driving. I was driving the car on a true street cruise at one point, and it did start raining, so people were a lot more hesitant, a lot more cautious, and this 30-mile cruise ended up being a lot of stop and go driving, and I ended up in a situation where I did not have reliable brakes for the last 20 minutes or so of this 30-minute cruise, and it was not a situation that I was particularly fond of. So as you can see, I prefer the strange brakes on my drag car. We have a lot of experience with them here at VMP, and it's something that we would love to talk to you about, love to help you with. And if you have questions about other brake setups or would like to see more content on different brake setups, let us know in the comments below. To see more of what we've got going on at VMP, make sure you like, share, and subscribe.